back, folks. Thanks for joining us. My name is Michael Yates. This is the Ridgeview Pod, where we try to cover everything hope, healing, and recovery related, even beard related. My buddy, Randy Byrge, is kind enough to join us today. How are you, Randy?
I'm doing good, brother. You're looking good.
I mean, I'm not, that's the elixir, I think, that I put on my my beard kind of got out of control.
You look a lot better than last time I seen you.
Well, we'll fix this quickly because I'm already on fire. Yeah. But Randy and I have always had a good laugh. I think one of the first times I met you, it's been several years ago, and we were at some event at like the Lighthouse in Knoxville, and it was something with Blue Cross Blue Shield or something. But I remember thinking, I like this guy. I got to get to know him better. So I'm glad you're here.
Hey, I'm one of the rare people that really are happy to be sober. I like to enjoy my sobriety. I like to have a good time. I like to laugh and cut up. And I like to make people happy. That's what I like to do.
You do. You make me happy. And let's just start with the beard, because I know there is significance when you first did there was a challenge that you did up in Scott County, and it had to do with a parade, and it was going to result in you actually cutting your beard. But tell me the significance of the beard for you.
The first time was 2 years ago, 4th of July. We were trying to get the community to come together. In Scott County, sometimes that's a difficult thing, and people say it can't be done. But we went around and spoke to a lot of churches, did a lot of community events, and had been growing this thing out. It all started when it was just growing out a little bit, and my mom said, "You need to shave that. It looks nasty." So then I started growing it, and a year later after growing it, people were giving me a hard time, telling me to shave it. So then I knew I had something that I could use. And I told them if 300 people would come out and walk with us in the parade, that I would let them shave my beard off, because we will do anything. I love my beard. It's a part of me. But more than that, I want my community to come together, because I believe the opposite of addiction is connection. And I believe the more people we connect, the more resources we got. Just like I met you, and just like I've met a lot of countless people, it's that connection that can get another door open, that can make another conversation happen, that might get another service to our town. So that first year, we ended up having 340 people come together in that parade and walk. And at the end of that thing, they did not let me forget. I'm a man of my word. And we loaded up and went back down to the mall. The mayor that year of the parade put us in front of Senator Ken Yeager in the front of the parade. And But God Ministries was the grand marshal of the parade. So we come out first, 340 of us, and made a statement that people are willing to work together, and we are ready for a change. And then after that parade, the mayor took us right down to the center of town, and everybody gathered up, and probably in front of a couple thousand people, my daughter started off shaving my beard. And now she thinks that's what we do. Oh. She thinks every year that she gets to shave this thing off.
It's time, Dad.
And last year, we loaded up, and I don't never go back, so I go big. And I told them if we could get 500 people, I'd let them shave it again. We didn't make it to 500. I think we got to 430. And like I said, I'm a man of my word, so I kept it. Mm-hmm. So we'll get more, but that's still, almost 100 more people that come together. Yeah. So it's still growing, and still trying to think of new ways to bring more people together.
Yeah. Well, I remember the photographs of you with that sheared beard, yes. And it was like, oh, that's what he looks like.
I felt like I looked silly.
But I can't believe how quickly it grows back for you. So, yeah. All right, well, you mentioned But God being the Grand Marshal. So tell our viewers a little bit about that particular, because you wear lots of different hats in Scott County.
Yes, sir. With But God, I also believe there's multiple pathways to recovery. I believe, some people might find it in NA and AA. Some people, I do know people that just quit. It amazes me. It's something I like to talk to them about because I couldn't do that. But me, I found mine in faith. I went to a faith-based treatment center in Corpus Christi, Texas, November 11th, 2012 at 7:17. Growing up, watching people claim one way of life but living a completely different, I thought it was all fake. And on that day, I realized who I was. And God changed my life that day. And the message that the preacher was preaching was out of Ephesians 2 and verse 4. And it says, "But God, who is rich in mercy, wherewith his great love loved us, even when we were dead in sin, has quickened us together with Christ. By grace you're saved." And to me, I mean, my family was done with me. I was not allowed in my mom and dad's house anymore. And listen, I'm not crying because they hurt my feelings. They had to do that. There has to be that firm line that says enough's enough, because if they wouldn't have stopped me, I would have took everything they had. But it still hurts to know that I put them through. A lot of people come through a bad background and a bad family, but I'm not that guy. I had every excuse to do right. And my family, the hardest thing my dad has ever done is sent his baby to Corpus Christi, Texas, to where he couldn't put his hands on me. My dad has 3 boys. I can't tell you the vehicles he's fixed, the 4-wheelers he's fixed, the broken bones and the broken hearts. And my dad found something that he could not fix in me. And he had to send me away. And so when I come back, I started out with these bracelets. A guy at my church come and, he had heard my story, and I got to share my testimony. My church was no longer ashamed of me. They started letting me speak at the church, and my mom and dad was no longer ashamed of me. And I'd started telling, the story about what had happened in my life. And a guy at my church, his name's Jim Birchfield, come, and he just threw 50 bracelets in my lap. And he said, "See what you can do with it, Randy." Huh. And what Jim Birchfield didn't know is before I was leaving, there was a drug dealer that would give me 50 Percocet 30s and see what I could do with it. So to me, when that hit me and that number hit me and what he said, it clicked that I never would lose that hustle. So I just had to change what I did with it.
Okay.
So I went to changing it and giving these bracelets. The kids love these bracelets. I mean, we're probably over 50,000 of these things that we've gave out right now. Yeah. And we like changing it up. We change the colors to the school colors. Anything we can do to get the message out, because everybody will ask what they are. And then we started with shirts. And then in the 4th of July parade, we put a banner on the trailer. It said, "Everybody has a problem no one can fix but God." And the lady that made it said she couldn't charge us for it, that she wanted to put it up next to the highway so everybody could see it. And then after we put it up, another guy called and he said he wanted one. Yeah. And right now we've got over 80 of those 4-foot by 8-foot banners up.
And folks, if you have not been in Scott County recently, you cannot drive through Scott County without seeing those black and white signs in people's yards, on their place of business, in just random spots. It's remarkable. Yeah. It is a thumbprint of your work, of God's work, of the message that's really gone, no pun intended, viral in Scott County.
Yes, sir. And it's a reminder to everybody. A lot of people like to look down on somebody and pick out the mistake that they've made and forget about the ones that they've made themselves. But that's why those banners say everybody has a problem. And that come from my dad, who's never done a drug, who's never smoked a cigarette, has always been a working man. I mean, I call him the greatest man in the world. I mean, this man has put up with so much for me and still loved on me, called me this morning to check on me, make sure I was making my way over here. I mean, a great man. I will never be half of the man this man is. But he said, "Randy, we all have problems. Yours just gets put in the paper." And then that stuck with me, because he said his battle's in his mind, the things he thinks. But he said the stuff that I do, that's the stuff that people want to punish me for and hammer me and keep me remembering. And I told that story to the guy at the newspaper in Scott County. His name's Ben Garrett. And he said, "Randy, I don't know why we put that in there." He said, "I never thought about it until you said that." He said, "But it serves no purpose. If somebody's stealing something from people, you probably need. But a simple misdemeanor, possession charge, what do you really do?" And he said he don't do it no more. From just hearing that story. So
Interesting.
that's the way we get the word out.
Yeah.
You know, we call it reducing the stigma of addiction, whatever you want to call it. But we're getting the word out that people do recover.
Yeah.
We do not recover quietly. I am a loud man.
Yeah.
And when you're that loud, people do attack you. And it happens. But I've also got to watch people find recovery. And that's my addiction today. Is reaching out and helping people. That keeps me sober. When that phone rings and I get to talk to somebody, you know, a lot of people think that I fix people, but that's not the truth. I've yet to talk any person into quitting doing drugs. But what I do get to do is show them what recovery looks like and show them the other side of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a perfect segue into one of the other hats that you wear. So you're also a lifeliner. What exactly is a lifeliner? And tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my position is kind of a new one. It's a hybrid lifeliner. I'm a state certified peer recovery specialist.
Okay.
And to be a lifeliner, you have to be that. You have to be a person with lived experience. And what we do is we start more groups. But what they notice with the regular lifeliners is the people in the rural communities aren't calling the 1-800 number. And people didn't know why. But you see, when you're raised like I am, you know, the mom and daddies ain't going to call a 1-800 number for their baby. So they need to come talk to somebody. They need to see somebody. So that's what we do. We get out in the community. We are as loud as possible because we want people to know that we are there. And we flood the community with services that we can provide. We like to start more groups for people to go to. I know when I started this job, there was 2 groups in Scott County. 3. There was a NA and an AA, and then a local church had a group that they call Wall Builders. And now we've started 3 more groups on top of that. Just ourselves started more groups so people have somewhere to go. And through that, now the judge is able to run a 90 and 90 program. So we're also helping our community. We also put our information out there because we help people get into treatment. We know that sometimes transportation is hard. Sometimes when somebody's struggling and they're making that phone call, if they keep hearing no, they're going to give up. So we will call and get the no's. We will, you know, find out if they have any insurance. A lot of people in our town do not have insurance. And we make those connections into treatment. And we also provide trainings to educate the community in how to deal with someone like me. We started our first family support group about 2 weeks ago, so families could have somewhere to come. Now, that's not a group that I will attend. I went to the first one to get it started, but that's somewhere where a dad can unload about how rough his son is, and another daddy might be able to help him with that. We had a local church that took that group on. The pastor and his wife and her sister, you know, their dad just come back from treatment, and they learned through going through it, you know, how to deal with him. So we're letting them teach the community how to do that.
Nice. Well, you say, you know, people getting that no. What I hear you doing is yes. And that is good news.
Yes, sir.
That's good news to share. Well, we could go on and on. It's a treat to hear a little bit more about your story, for our viewers to be aware of your presence in Scott County. A lot of the exciting things that are going on in rural parts of East Tennessee is good news. Keep up the great work. It's always a treat to spend time with you. I hope you'll come back, and we'll do it again.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
All right. And thank you for tuning in, folks. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell so that you get notification of our future episodes, and we'll have links to the Lifeliner number in the comments section of this episode. Be good to yourself, take good care, and we'll see you next week.